On Capitol Hill, a House Judiciary Committee hearing on monitoring social media content, breaking out into partisan spats with both Democrats and GOP leaders making highly political accusations yesterday. Watch.
Google has also deleted or blocked references to Jesus, Chick-fil-A, and the Catholic religion. When will it stop?
Let's make something very clear. There is no evidence that the algorithms of social networks or search results are biased against conservatives.
Let's bring in Congressman Andy Biggs, who sits on the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, thanks for your time this morning. So what is happening here? In your view, is there censorship of conservatives when it comes to these social media companies?
Well, I think there is, and I think there's ample evidence. I think of someplace like Western Journal that was growing month over month for quite some time, and then the algorithms changed, and all of a sudden the flow of visitor traffic is put to nothing. I think of Marsha Blackburn, who's had to have her website taken down because the purveyors of social media said it was too controversial because she had a pro-life stance. There's a whole, it's one after another, and it's often related directly to the algorithms that get changed. We have hate speech against conservatives that are out there, and that is allowed to stay up until we take extraordinary measures and have to make contact after contact, as in the case that Matt Gaetz pointed out. So we see this happening. And these purveyors, they acknowledge that they have algorithm challenges, and sometimes they're not acting responsibly and quick enough.
They do, Congressman. One example of that was, and Bob Goodlatte, a Republican, brought this up in the beginning of the hearing, noting how Facebook recently, as we all learned, censored Texas newspapers posting of quotes of the Declaration of Independence. One of the social media companies flagged them as hate speech, obviously identifying that there is a problem here. He went on to say that these platforms need to do a better job of explaining how they make these decisions, or perhaps explaining the algorithms that you're mentioning. Do they?
Yeah, I think they do, and I think what we're doing is the right approach to this by putting public pressure on this, because as we shine the light of day on this, we do see the social media companies, they want to respond because their constituency includes, let's face it, a significant portion of the people who get on these social media sites. They are conservatives, they are concerned, and so we have to keep putting pressure on them this way, because the other way is to do it the liberal way, which would be to regulate them, and that's anathema to conservatives as well.
One Democrat, Jamie Raskin of Maryland, said that the hearing was based on pure fantasy, the Democrat said, and he said that the hearing should be focusing on the real crisis caused yesterday by Donald Trump. So Democrats really wanted to move on and talk about the words of the president in Helsinki. Congressman, next I want to ask you about Republicans. They want the IG to look into Rod Rosenstein over these alleged threats to congressional staffers. What are you learning about that?
Well, we know what happened, or what's been asserted has happened, and I think it to be true is that staffers were kind of intimidated that they would be investigated, their phones would be seized and be looked at if they continued to press for the release of documents, some of which we've asked for over a year ago now, thousands of documents. And so Mr. Rosenstein and his staff took umbrage at our staff putting pressure, saying, look, we've been waiting for this long enough, give us the documents. And so he says it didn't happen. Our witnesses say it did happen. I think the Inspector General needs to really look at this, because if that's the case, that kind of threatening intimidation is the type of bullying that we just can't allow from our law enforcement people.
Congressman Andy Biggs, thanks for coming on this morning. Great to have you on the program.
Thanks, Sandra.